Testing. So now we are going to start fireside chat on the topic of data privacy and security. So let me introduce our panelists. So first, Mr. Anil Kumar, CSO, the Oberoi Group. He's having extensive knowledge over the privacy and security domain. Anil worked with government organization, QSR, and now in hospitality industry. His expertise in cloud security, data security, threat management, enterprise risk management, and data privacy. Next, Mr. Baidyanath, CISO and DPO for JK Lakshmi Cement, part of the JK organization. Baidyanath is Chief Information Security Officer and Data Protection Officer at JK Lakshmi Cement. And his role, Baidyanath, is basically about CISO as a service, cyber program, threat management, identity as a service, cyber resilience, privacy, and next generation technologies, as he always used. And next goes to Mr. Praveen Kumar. Praveen is a seasoned cyber and privacy professional who worked with large banks and fintechs over the last 2 decades as CISO and DPO. And his vast experience to use many technologies like AI to secure digital infrastructure. So let's have big hands for our panelists. So I want to start with Anil first. So Anil, what is your view over privacy by design? How you are interacting privacy into the design of your digital services and products?
Good afternoon, everyone. Am I clear at the back? Okay, thank you very much. So before I start this conversation, let me state that all the views, statements that are called out here by me are my personal view, and it has nothing to do with my company and my profile. So this is one of our policy, so that I wanted to state here. That's number one. Number two, coming to the privacy question, privacy has become part of our life. In fact, it started from Europe, where we had gold standard, which we call GDPR. That is what has created major privacy regulations around the world. Of course, there were regulations before that, but it was addressed in some of those IT acts, some specific regulations of those countries. But after GDPR, the need of data privacy and embedding it with data security, I think, had come first. And after that, even Indian government came out with our regulations, which was tabled a few years back, 2 years back, which again was tabled back, in last few days. And good news is that it is now passed by Parliament. It is just pending for President's signature. Once it is done, then it is a law. So this is what is the regulation, but let me come back to the question. How do we ensure that it is part of our processes, it is part of the design? So if you want to achieve, whether it is data security or privacy, my personal view is that, it has to be part of either process, okay, or it has to be part of the culture. And what is the difference between process and culture is, process is something that we follow in company. Maybe we do it once or twice, but if we do it multiple times, it becomes the culture. And culture is the biggest thing. When I say culture, it is like, each and every employee in the company knows about security and privacy, right? And it covers all aspects of security, whether it is identification, protection, detection, response, and recover, right? When we say data privacy in software design per se, how do we ensure that it is part of the design? That means when we develop any software which either collects data, or it processes that data, or it stores that data in form of any application, or we share this data either through flat file system or through APIs or other means, we ensure that data is only processed, stored, or shared with the purpose for which it has been collected for. So there are, basic principles of privacy. So we have to apply those principles all across our IT processes whenever we handle that data. So I think this is something that we have to do as part of the process. And if we don't do that, and it is enforced from either DPO or from security side, in isolation, I feel it doesn't work. It only works if it is part of our software development cycle process, or we have agile methodology, that process. If we have some other, process related to software development, it has to be part of it.
Yeah, very well articulated. So, sorry. I want to come to Baidyanath. So you are from manufacturing industry. So what is your view? Where you use privacy by design, and you are having solutions as well. So what is your view over the privacy by design?
Hello. Hope I am clearly audible. Thanks Kapil for asking this. So just adding to what Anil mentioned, okay. If you see the much awaited bill is now with us now, right? So the digital data protection bill. So with that, if you see a lot of regulations and controls are going to be enforced. Right? That is very important to understand what are the even rights at data principal end, and even their obligations also as well as. At the same time, it is talking about that sense also. When it is coming to data fiduciary or processor, so those all things are very important. And before going to the how we are looking into that, it is very important to understand that as a data fiduciary or a processor, what are the 7 important key principles where you have to understand the data privacy related concepts. So even usage limitation or purpose, minimization, data minimization concepts, control, privacy, even consent and control, breach notification. These all things are very important, and this is something which is not that much difference from GDPR, but these are very important things which needs to be there, right? And particularly if you talk about some inclusions also, so this is very important that in case of disablement and all, and even the children who needs a parental guidance, right? So that parental control has been included, right? This is very important factor. And about the exclusion also, if you talk about that penalty and all those things of up to 500 crores, so those have been removed now, and it has been mandated till 250 crores. So those things are there. And even when we want to understand that how we have to start. So this is very important because we have a now a proper bill which is going to be converted into once it is getting even approved by the president also, so the rules will be getting enacted, right? And then all the organizations have to start looking into that direction with a complete data governance framework. So that is very important. First of all, you need to do the complete gap assessment to understand that, okay, because privacy by design was something which was not taken care till now, right? Everything it was something like afterthought, right? But now if you see, this concept is going to be adopted, whether fiduciaries are going to deploy designated DPO role, or it should be given to CISOs or security function, right? The first and foremost question. Then the second thing is, after that gap assessment, how the governance model is going to structure, and how the privacy by design things needs to be adopted at the initial phase itself. It should not be like afterthought, right? The way we have designed in security. So security is something where we have started focusing even 5 or 10 years back itself that, okay, it should be not considered as an afterthought, and it has to be there in the pipeline from the start. But now the focus is even for the privacy matters also. So at org level, we are also considering that whatever the data, what we have to process, let's collect that data, okay? Because this is very important. In terms of manufacturing industry sector, if you understand the challenges also, so marketing team mainly collects the data, right? But here comes the importance of that, whatever you are collecting as part of those things, even sales related stuffs and all. So you have to limit there, what are you going to process that, okay? Even how you are getting to process that. Is any third party which is getting involved in that? So because that is very important, because the moment you are outsourcing the data processing, you have to enforce all those controls. And even if you see the new bill, it is clearly talking about that also, how it is going to be controlled between fiduciary and processor also, and their obligations and duties. So this is very important. After that, you have to, we have to focus also the consent, user's consent is very much clear, and that's why you have to even develop a framework to take those consents also. Okay, so this is like consent manager role, or how you are controlling the cookies consent and all those things, even your privacy design, right? Whenever you are having any public facing portal, how you are mentioning your privacy policies, including your hyperlinking, copyright, everything, right? Those all things come into picture. We are focusing on all those important areas. Apart from that, obviously, when the bill has come now, so we have to look into again from the gap assessment perspective, and the most important thing is how you are going to adopt a design and doing the impact analysis, privacy impact analysis, and what should be the frequency of the privacy impact analysis also. So those all things needs to be considered, and then you have to integrate the privacy by design as a principle itself fundamentally, the way we are doing it for security by design.
Thanks a lot.
Can I
It's
add
very
something
useful
here,
information.
Kapil? Can I add here something?
Yeah, before that, you are DPO. This question for you. So where you stand, your organization stand related to DPDP. It's coming. So where you are exactly? You started working on assessments, or?
So yeah, Kapil. So we have started focusing on that. Even we have started doing org level meeting. Okay, and we just wanted to decide on the adoption of even external agency also to understand that gap assessment part. Okay, to start and we develop a good governance model.
That's great.
Data framework.
That's great. So I'm coming to Praveen.
Just to add here,
Yes.
privacy by design. So just to simplify and adding what these two gentlemen have said, right? So there are two ways to meet the compliance, right? One is the reactive way, and second is the proactive way, right? So if you integrate any initiative into design phase, you understand that, right? That when you think about the new product, you think about the new application, or you think about new process, business process, or anything, or software, etc., anything. So once you start thinking the privacy risk or security risk at that stage, in your conceptualized stage only, that what kind of privacy risk may occur, what kind of security risk may occur, what kind of data we are collecting, who is accessing, and if is there any regulatory compliance applicable to this set of data, what kind of security measures are required to protect this data set. If you start thinking before you would even develop that process or product, this is called proactive way to meet the compliance, and that is the also called security and privacy by design. So any good CISO like these two gentlemen, they follow this privacy by design because it also needs, it also transforms the culture, as he said, right? So once you start implementing anything, shifting left towards the conceptualization stage, this is the best way to sustain that process. This is the best way to meet the compliance. This is the best way to minimize any risk or any kind of incident. Yes.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. With related to security, we started with privacy, and privacy compliance can't be compliant without security. So from the security standpoint, is there any robust solution, or is there any kind of AI solution that you use to protect your organization? What is your personal view on this?
Okay, so AI is a big topic. I'm not sure if you guys are interested. Let me spend a couple of minutes. So anyone is interested on AI, understanding AI? Great.
Yeah, everyone.
So,
Yeah.
so it is a big topic. I may take at least a couple of hours to just talk about AI. But let me see that how minimal I can explain, and very simplistic way to explain this. So last 10 years or so, we have been seeing the evolution of AI, right? and everyone must have experienced, everyone directly, indirectly, without knowing if it is AI built or not. But I'll give you a very simplistic example. So we are CISO and a security professional. Any of you are security professional here? So yeah, so if you have seen that, firewall or IPS back in 2010, 12, right? So they are based on anomaly. This is also called first wave of AI evolution, right? So they create the baseline after studying the traffic flow, the traffic nature, etc. And they create the baseline, and any deviation from that baseline, they try to create the rule and block that unwanted traffic, anomalous traffic, right? This is called first wave of AI evolution. There was no predictive element in that, right? It was completely based on the, it's called supervised learning. I don't want to get into the very technical. So in machine language term, it's called supervised learning. The second wave came somewhere in 2016, 17, right? And still we are part of second wave or in between second wave and third wave. There we call as, that data set, right? They learn their own, right? They also learn either supervised way or unsupervised way of machine language. So this is the second step of AI evolution, where they started understanding that, okay, this is the set of data and we learn. It doesn't mean that you will ask to learn, right? They also learn by their own. So it's called unsupervised learning. So second type of AI evolution, and everyone is using in all of the product, right? Be it Facebook, right? If you have experienced that, if you look at a few more seconds in any particular of ad, right, then you'll get lots of such kind of ad in your Facebook feed, right? This is all about the second wave of AI, or the product or the outcomes of that AI, that they learn quickly that, okay, this guy has interest of this kind of topic. The third wave, where it's called generative AI or automated AI or the chat GPT, etc., we are into that. This is very smart AI evolution. Very smart means they use the neural language, they use all the generative AI, they use the very large amount of data to and also create their own rule. They create their own outcomes. Like, in chat GPT, if you say that, write a poem for me, they will understand, okay, what kind of poem, and few things they may ask, and they may learn and create a poem for you, right? This is what the generative AI is. And we are in that phase, and we are trying to learn, adopt, and all those things. So this is all about the AI. I try to give the very simplistic and very short description of AI evolution. Coming to your answer, right, Kapila, yes, we have been the user of AI more than that we are using any of the product, right? So being a CISO, we ensure that any product we are buying, whether it is AI-enabled product or not, right? Or if it is AI-enabled product, then what kind of AI? Is this the first wave of AI, second or third? What kind of machine learning? As a CISO or anything you are, procuring, and all vendor will claim that we are AI-enabled product. But ask the intelligent question, what kind of AI you are using, how intelligent this AI function is. Once you ask one or two questions, then you understand that one, what kind of AI technology they are using for that. So for as a CISO, I'm sure all the CISO use that. We are mostly user of that. Investment is done by the product company, the security product company, right? Or the large technology like IBM or Microsoft or Google, they have been investing. I heard that Google has planned to invest $10 billion next 5 years. And that project is called Project Zero Time, right? So they are investing a lot in that, and they are also releasing that like Chrome extension or the Chat GPT or anything. So they are releasing the product based on their investment, based on their outcomes. As a security professional, yes, without AI, we will not be able to manage the threat what we have, right? So be it identification of all assets, what assets we have, we use AI. Be it protection of any, protection from any threat, we use AI-enabled product, or detection, or even response and recovery. So we do use a lot of things. Plus also we try to give the product team to how to use AI, what kind of security they need. I'll give you one example without taking name of my company or no, that we have developed FRM, fraud risk management module. Right? Fraud risk management module, and they have used the AI features very extensively, so that we proactively come to know what kind of threat, what kind of fraud is expected out of any kind of activity, how we can identify those threats immediately, how we can prevent those threats or protect from those threats immediately. Yes, answer is yes, and we have been using AI.
That's great. So one quick question before coming to Anil. I want to ask one question and I won't answer in one word only. What do you think, AI is disruptive or supportive for cybersecurity?
So AI is called blessing in disguise, and
Only one between these two, disruptive or supportive. I know this is
I'm
very
a positive person. It is very much constructive. So for me, if it is one word, then constructive. Yes.
That's great.
Same for me.
And Anil, you?
So I think I would say hybrid. So why I would say hybrid was, yesterday I was conducting awareness session for the senior management. Okay. One of the example that I have given them is, how hackers are using AI. There are two phases of, aspects of AI. Is, AI used for constructive purpose, then it is, first one. And if it is used for other half of it, then it is dangerous. And that is why there is a lot of debate on creating a framework for usage of AI. Like we have created a framework in India for privacy. There is an immediate need for creating a framework of usage of AI. So the use case that I was giving to them was one of the real incident that has happened. So I'm sure all of you know that using AI, you can take my photograph from the Facebook or social media. If I have participated in any event like here, or I have uploaded any video over internet, they can take the video sample of it, right? So they have face, they have my video, right? And using these two aspects, using AI model, they will type whatever they want to communicate, and I will be able to speak those words, right? So that they can also do a video call. Suppose they know that because I use social media a lot, and I say that I am off-site, and I will not be available over phone or something. If hackers know about it, so they might call your family. Okay, it will be a video call using my photograph. I mean my avatar, look like that it is Anil Kumar, using my voice. Okay, and they might ask any ransom. And based on the data that these guys have collected, they will keep typing based on the response that they get from, say my spouse. And then I will be speaking those words to them, right? So this can go to that extent. And then immediately, when I was explaining them, this is how dangerous it could be. And in today's environment, CISOs are struggling with the minor issues of how to identify normal phishing attacks on the mail. And you look at what kind of complexity this AI is bringing in to the table for all of us to solve for. So then, another interesting question, that was asked one of the CXO was, Anil, then how do we address this? This is very dangerous. I said, sir, Purana Fanda, movies mein we used to see, कि एक कार्ड के दो वो they used to tier it, आधा तुम्हारे पास, आधा मेरे पास. If you get that kind of call, have some questions, which are known to you or to your spouse, right? So in security we say, zero trust. This is what you can never trust now any video call coming to you. You can never trust a call which looks genuine. Then, and if you know about this risk which is coming up, then you have to find ways to break it, from CISO perspective. Then you should have those questions and answer, which we call second factor authentication, and it is also applicable in case of AI. Because the hacker, who's sitting other side, he will not be knowing that question. And this question could be any stupid, कि वो सब्जी लेके आए कि नहीं बाजार से, whatever you want to keep it, right? That question is known to other half only. So sorry, it was one word, but then I thought I always try making things very simple by using some examples. So
You given a very good example on deepfake. Exactly you told. I want to come again to you. Where you use AI in your organization?
So, in my current I mean, as I said, I can't say anything about my organization, but AI is something which is, disrupting most of the processes. AI is one of the word which is, which has hit the top management because they read newspapers, and newspapers talk about that ChatGPT has been downloaded these many millions in 1 month, and it is also, there are some headlines that it will keep so many people jobless and all those things, and there are keywords that it will make so many things redundant, and there are also headlines that it will ensure that systems are error free or something. So the pressure that is coming up from the board or MDs is that how do we use AI to minimize errors in a system? That is one pertinent question. And what we are doing is, as a CISO, we are taking this question, reaching out to OEMs. And we are asking them questions as, he said, the AI that you are using, what kind of AI it is? Why it is not generative AI? Which algo, you are using? Which company's AI, whether it is generated by you, created by you or all? So these are the questions. But if you ask me, currently in security, most of the companies, there are solutions which are used for observability, right? There are solutions for endpoint solution threat management, which is basic security. I think these are two solutions, and of course, the third one, which I see a major use case is for SOC, Security Operations Center. So these are the three areas where AI has been used in security paradigm.
That's really great. Thanks for providing your insight. Yeah, I want to come to the Baidyanath. So Baidyanath, my question is coming from the background like business outcome. What is the model that you adopt or you think from the scalability and from the better performance standpoint?
Yeah, so before that, Kapil, I just wanted to add something on
Definitely,
what was
definitely. It's going to be interesting, yeah.
Related to the AI. So obviously, like Anil mentioned, right, hybrid. You told hybrid, right? Okay. So, but yes, obviously.
He wanted one, so I did not find. I neither wanted to,
but
because every coin has two faces, right?
Exactly,
If you
that's
ask
right.
me, how many faces a coin has, I can't say.
So that's what new concept is coming like responsive. Yeah.
So that's why in the context of CISO, if it is talked about, so obviously it is always the positive side, right? Because we are defensive, we are not offensive hacker style sort of thing. So to counter them, we need that. That's why if you see the signature-based technology has evolved, right? Even Praveen was mentioning it with the examples and all and the phases, right? So finally, it is something which is coming out of signature-based detectors to completely a signature-less, like the evolved EDR or evolved SOC also, because in SOC also, if you will see, a lot of cyber attacks are happening and attackers are using sophisticated AI ML based pattern and to cope up that, how are you going to do the incident triaging? Your SOC analyst has a very less time to respond to any ransomware attack, and if he's busy in detecting the IOCs and all those things, the half the battle is already lost. So that's why the incident triaging, and Anil was mentioning as the last use case. So SOC is one of the fundamental use case where AI ML driven analytics has to be leveraged a lot. And the recent attack also on Indian airports, where I will not name the company of the WAF, which successfully detected. It is already in the news and all. But if you see those AI/ML detections was there, which successfully even prevented the DDoS attack at that level, okay, at that disruptive level. And how it is, because it was something where it was not something where it was looking into L3, L4 or some sort of detections based on the pattern, right? It was something completely driven by that principle, which fundamentally is guided by AI. Now, Kapil, so coming to the main important, so understanding to the business objective is very important. And whenever you are developing any security model, it should not be like that, whatever we are taking the actions as CISOs, should be completely focusing on any sort of point product approach, or it should be something which is getting driven by the business objective first. So make cybersecurity as a boardroom agenda, discuss in that forum, because you need to understand even what are the other risks in the business and how you are going to associate that with your cybersecurity goals. If you are not able to correlate that, and if you are going to do it in a siloed structure, it is not going to surely help to attain the business outcome, because even Kapil pointed out that how it is going to affect the performance. So for how you are going to take those cybersecurity solutions, which is going to finally ease the user operations, efficacy, and without compromising any security controls. Well, just putting the security controls is not going to help, because finally it should be getting driven by business objectives. Because if you see, business context is very important. For manufacturing sector, the priority is something which is around sales, right? Production and sales. For BFSI, if you see, even data protection is equally important, because there you are highly liable to the citizens or even the data principals. So that's why you understand your business context, make cybersecurity as a boardroom agenda, understand the business context completely, and that's why CISOs have evolved as a business leader rather than just cybersecurity professionals. Okay, so you can't think that a good security design should not be focusing on the application maturity, application performance, or user experience. So those all things need to be considered, and you need to focus on a model where you have to adopt all those things. And that's why the consolidation of security platforms is the key, right? When we talk about the modern day architecture also, which focuses on zero trust approach. So zero trust is nothing but it is just focusing on all the converged approach, as well as how you are going to understand your IT, OT, or other important security aspects all together. It should not be something that, okay, I am just going to put a layered security approach in data center, and the moment the controls are out of the data center, they like the remote workforce, right? Just to achieve the business resilience, you need to understand that how you are going to design a security in that manner, which should not be a business constraint, right? It should be a business enabler. And we, as a CISOs, now even the board demands that how you are going to ease the process. They are not asking you to how you are going to complicate the security matters and all those things, because finally something is going to be translated into the business language, right? So those all important things needs to be considered, and then you have to design a solution like your preventive, detective, or your responsive controls all together to fundamentally solve all the problems and intended to our business objectives. Okay, so understanding business context, identifying your key stakeholders, then you are identifying your crown jewels, how you are going to do the thorough risk management to cover all those risk scenarios in your business context, and then developing the right set of solutions. Those things are.
Thank you. You've given good insights. First, we should know about business. So I want to come to Praveen. So what is your view on scalable cybersecurity model?
Okay, so in any cybersecurity model, cybersecurity tool, cybersecurity solution, cybersecurity strategy, cybersecurity compliance, anything, right? It has to be scalable. So as you know that technology is progressing like anything. And once technology changes, then any CISO will have challenge to cope up or to cater or to protect the threat coming from the new technology. And scalability is must. So 5 years back, 10 years back, there was one set of application, it's called monolithic application, right? Now all the technology CIO or CTO has converted or into the microservices. And they are also digitizing their manual process to the new application or to the technology. And they are also adding new customers. There are new challenges, there are new regulations coming up, there are new customers are adding up. Any cybersecurity solution has to be scalable, or any technology is, as I can say, any technology has to be scalable. So scalability is one of the key criteria for any CISO if he or she works for any growing company, right? So as you see the data set, right? 5 years back, even largest company used to have 2 petabyte or 3 petabyte of data. Now even medium size of SME is having more than 5-10 petabyte of data. Now you can see the explosion of the data set, right? But if you have the explosion of data set and the storage and the length and breadth of data, and if you don't have the cyber security solution which is scalable to cater to manage those data explosion, then you are going to fail. You will be keep adding new solution on top of that. So it's a good thing that all the cyber security solution coming up with scalability, they are the adding this scalability as a mandatory feature in their solution. And this solution is also now is mostly on the SaaS based or public cloud based. So once you have on the public cloud or like AWS or Azure or GCP, right, they are by default scalable. So once you have the scalability or SaaS solution, then CISO's problem is little bit minimized. The scalability is must. Did I answer you, Kapil, or you
Yes,
are
very well.
expecting something else? Yeah.
One thing just I wanted to add what is mentioned, because SaaS adoption is one area where you can easily rely in terms of scalability. But I would like to highlight, Kapil, the importance of collaboration with architects and business leaders is very important, because if as a cyber security, if you are designing a solution, let's suppose sizing a firewall, okay, so there are multiple models, right? And in any security product, you can't just assume that, okay, what is YOY, year on year growth in terms of data size or data burn rate. So that's why you need to collaborate with the relevant stakeholders. That is the key. Whenever you are sizing any scalable solution, you can't decide that, okay, I am cybersecurity expert, I know that what is going to be the data volume and all those things. You can't do it, because without understanding the business context, talking to the architects, you can't decide on the particularly on what is your next 5 years storage burn rate and all those things.
Makes sense.
So Kapil, just would like. So scalability, if you look at this word, it is coined by the cloud. When cloud came, they said, one of the aspects that we provide is scalability. And if I, add to what they said, I mean, it is the right thing that what they have mentioned, but scalability need is actually, it depends on business requirement. So there are business where systems, IT systems, or business system I must call, or business processes, usual transaction is something that you can forecast for a year based on business objectives or business plans. But if you talk about companies like e-commerce companies like Flipkart, for that matter, Swiggy, Zomato, McDonald's, Domino's, all these companies, their business is not, scalable. They might have 100 customers in the morning. By the time of lunch, if it is, Swiggy, Zomato, they would have thousands of them. In the evening, they have, and then X of whatever. So if you have to provide security to such systems which are scalable and which are running on cloud, so as a CISO, you have to explore security solutions, whether it is WAF, web application firewall, whether it is edge technology, which are scalable and which can fit into those business requirements. So I think this is one area, and cloud solution providers are coming handy to the CISOs in terms of designing secure solutions which are scalable and are mapped to business applications.
Thank you. Thanks for providing your views. Now again, I'm coming on one question. The answer can be in one line or one word. What do you think zero trust? Is this the concept or just the tool? I will start with Baidyanath.
Yeah, so obviously a lot have been talked about that. Right? So zero trust is simply a concept and framework. It is not a tool. For sure, it is not a tool, because even multiple security products vendor, you will see they have written ZTNA in their product. So ZTNA is something which is completely approach, right? Where organizations have started moving towards, because perimeter is no longer context and identity is the context. So that's why you are tying zero trust to that. But what are the correct set of solutions to achieve that? Okay, so that is something which need to be understand. But obviously, it is a concept.
Okay.
So probably I'm one of the few
I will
CISO.
request to be in one line, one word.
Yeah. So yeah, so I have implemented Zero Trust and got audited and also awarded. So it has three distinct features, right? One is that, do not trust, always verify, right? If I'm saying I'm Praveen, means then you need to ask that I don't know Praveen, you can show me your authentication or your identification, right? So never trust, always verify. The second is that limit the blast surface, right? So always if two API are interacting or two network are connected or two human being or two laptops are talking each other, then create some kind of authentication in between, right? So that if one set of network is compromised, it will not impact to the other set of networks. So just to summarize, limit the blast surface. The third is the continuous monitoring. You have to keep monitoring to identify the anomalies. With these three features together to achieve the Zero Trust.
That's what we want to heard. Yeah.
So, I call it 0-0 trust culture. So why I call it, in my organization I use 2 zeros. And I will try to say, why I do that. And, there is a history to it. Somebody said, trust but verify. That was only addressing human angle. And this concept has come from physical security. Primarily, on the gate we used to inspect everybody, and this is how it came in information security. It was not handling trusting traffic which is coming from devices. Hackers are actually exploiting those devices, whether it is mobile device, whether it is data lake, agents, or it is other endpoints, right? So let me come back to what I say zero trust. Zero trust is a concept which has been given by the industry, saying that it is not only human being, you also have to apply this to technology. If you have any system in your network, if it is infected and if it is sending traffic here and there, so you should have internal systems within your network to check that traffic, right? That is first zero. I also mentioned second zero. So this is, we call, in a company, in fact, I deployed it and I use it in my previous organization also. I use it as a zero tolerance. So first is a zero trust, other one is zero tolerance. So what is zero tolerance? So, there is something called basic security. Basic security is something which is must. If you buy a laptop at home, what is the first thing that you do? I'm sure you would, install antivirus on it. So antivirus is something, which was like, first virus which was created, and there was antidote for that virus, which was antivirus, right? So zero tolerance for antivirus installation and update on your infrastructure. If you do that, trust me, 30% of your problems are away from you. Around 33% of attacks still, that are done by hackers are using malware. And that is why you need, those solutions. Another, zero tolerance that you should have in your company is for patching, right? If you do that, believe me, another 32% of your problems are gone. That means you are at par. Aapne 50% wali, the limit you have already crossed, which is a passing mark for you. So I believe on, as Sachin, my legend, used to say, I play with straight bet. So I also use those basic principles, and I always preach my team and entire IT team, please use the basics. Always have zero trust while creating network infrastructures or any solution. We use the concept as Kapil said, and you should have 2-3 policies that are pertaining to your areas, your functional areas. If you are in data science, identify those 2 things for which you should have zero tolerance, and just dictate it to the team down the line. it will really solve problem for you as well as your CISOs.
Sounds great. So we can wind up now. Yes, thanks a lot. Is there any question from audience? Okay.
Nobody else is asking. You had one of the questions over there. Sorry, am I audible?
Yes.
When you were talking about AI as to whether it was constructive or disruptive. It's not a particular question to any specific person, but and I saw people going in nods trying to explain why, and I think he also mentioned hybrid as a. Why can't it be, because it is disruptive, why can't we accept that it is disruptive, and hence it is allowing us to be constructive about it?
Yeah, that's all.
Yes.
So Praveen told about that. It's constructive. It's
Yeah, but with the
how we are taking any of the things, any of the technology, any of the tool, how we are taking it. It depends on that. Offensive or defensive.
okay,
So-
so the basis of the
so
question was
this is
why
what he
consider
said.
disruptive
So-
as a negative concept?
This is
So who want to
disruptive.
answer? Yeah.
This is disruptive technology, but this is not disruptive to any human being. This is what I wanted to say, right? Like, when we had the public sector bank, and then Manmohan Singh opened for private sector bank, right? So there was a very misconception or kind of apprehension that it will kill all the employee and all those things will happen. But it has not happened, because then regulator came into picture. So this is what he suggested, that there has to be AI regulation or AI Act or AI framework to regulate this evolution.
Exactly, that's
Right.
why it is
This
called
is
responsible uses of AI.
Yes.
Responsible.
It is very important to develop a framework where it should be adopted and how AI should be responsibly used, right? This is
Like how RBI is managing entire banking system of India. Same.
So he said, it is disruptive, and he's right, and everybody says that it is. What I said is, we need to have, like in our car, we have brake, right? To regulate the speed. In case there is something, we slow down the speed of it. When there is nothing, we accelerate it. So I said there should be a governing framework, so we use it in the right manner. That is what I said. So, we tried making the entire story around it.
Thank you.
How do we make sure that security is the first thing that everyone in the company is thinking about? I think it's important for CISOs. Obviously, it's important for CXOs and people who know what impact a breach could do. But it's not very apparent to everyone in the company, right? So one is obviously annual training and making sure that everyone understands what compliances we fall under. Do we have any other practices that has worked well?
The question is, I think security starts from you. What is the concept or how they're taking? So who want to take this question?
I think I can take it. Please go ahead. See, I said, how security has evolved. Initially it was trust and verify. Somebody said, respect, but again, have suspicion around it, right? And now what we see is that technology is driving everything, right? And if this technology is disrupted because of the hackers or because of malicious intent, and then there is disruption, right? Impact of it. Now your question is, how end user know that how much is the impact of it? I think, we have to evolve the way we train our people, the way we, do awareness. And it is only possible if, we follow the approach of inclusion. So, approach of inclusion is what he said, security is everybody's responsibility. So how do I involve you guys in ensuring that you do the right thing? Like if you are building a data lake, then you should understand the culture. If the data is very important. If the data is out, suppose you are building a warehouse on S3 bucket, and you should understand the implication of exposing that X3 bucket, with your configuration and just clicking on that, public, right? And the moment this data is accessible to outside world, it is going to come as a compliance requirement. Somebody said the limit is now 250 crores of having negligence of data security practice, right? So it has to go through awareness. This is what I feel, and we have to change the awareness, practices in organization.
Yeah. one
The part of organizational culture.
Correct. So
Definitely.
awareness is something which we are already doing, but so focused awareness is important. For example, for developer community, how to securely develop the code, right? Those secure coding checklist, peer review, all those things. So what I mean to say is that for OT, you can't say the basic cyber security controls. You need to make them understand related to the OT cyber security issues, problems, and all those, and up to that much extent. And how we're going to even check that also is very important, because just education, it is not going to help. Because the moment you are not going to conduct cyber drills to understand that, okay, whether they are completely understanding that and how they are responding to those drills also is the key. For example, on the human aspect, you need to conduct ransomware related campaigns, right? Ransomware or smishing or voice phishing. So these will, from that they will understand even the impact, and they can directly correlate those things. So just education is not going to help. The key is having these days tailored education. And how you are going to do the tailored education when you are getting the employee vulnerability score by doing the right set of cyber drills, and then you are getting the feedback also. Okay, these are my good employees, these are my bad employees. Bad employees in the sense that, okay, they are getting fished or trapped, they need a tailored education, manual coaching sort of thing. And these are my dormant employees also, because dormant employees is something which you need to understand. Those are not even reporting the cybersecurity incidents. But in case of a cybersecurity attack, how they are going to behave, you are not knowing. Like plateaus, you know, they are the dormant. And that's why it is always about classifying them into black and white rather than being in the gray area. And that's why you do drills. More and more proactive drills and more proactive checks.
I hope they answered very well.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.